something behind the scenes of the Premier League has begun to move quietly over the past few days. It was not an explosive headline, nor an immediate announcement of the kind that takes over social media within minutes. It was more discreet, almost like a detail that goes unnoticed by those who do not closely follow the daily life of the clubs. At St. James' Park, the atmosphere appeared calm on the surface, but behind that calm an important decision was being carefully shaped, one capable of impacting not only the present, but also the future of Newcastle United. While supporters debated rumours and possible movements in the transfer market, some stories continued to develop far away from the spotlight. It is in this environment that strategic decisions are usually made, away from public pressure, yet with direct consequences on the pitch. What seemed like just another rumour involving the giants of English football began to take on clearer outlines, and those who follow Newcastle closely sensed that something decisive was about to happen behind the scenes at the club. Amid so many speculations typical of a transfer window, conversations emerged, linking important Premier League names to rival clubs. Among these discussions, there was one central figure who sparked interest, caution, and even a degree of concern. The curious detail is that not all decisions revolve solely around money or immediate sporting ambition. Some are shaped by trust, recent history, and long-term plans, elements that often define the final direction of a negotiation. Before we move on, it is worth remembering how important it is to follow verified and contextualized news. If you enjoy keeping up with what happens behind the scenes at Newcastle United, understanding what truly goes on beyond the headlines makes all the difference. Take this moment to subscribe to the channel, because that helps the content reach more supporters who, like you, want clear, direct, and reliable information about the club. Newcastle United have officially confirmed that Sven Botman has signed a new contract with the club, putting an end to any doubts about his immediate future. The Dutch centre-back, who had been monitored by other Premier League giants, has secured his stay at St. James' Park with a deal that runs until the summer of 2030, a decision that completely changes the market landscape around him. This renewal comes at a symbolic moment, less than 2 weeks before the announcement. Liverpool had cooled their interest in Botman, carefully assessing the risks involved in a potential deal. The defender's recent injury record was decisive in the Reds choosing to pursue other paths during the January transfer window, opening the door for Newcastle to act quickly and strategically. Botman joined Newcastle United in 2022 from Lille in a transfer valued at around £35 million. At the time, the signing was seen as an important step in rebuilding the club's defense. His presence on the pitch brought solidity, game intelligence, and physical strength, qualities that quickly turned him into a key figure in the defensive system whenever he was available to play. However, the Dutchman's journey at St. James' Park has not been a straightforward one. Since his arrival, he has faced a series of physical problems that interrupted his continuity. Persistent injuries kept the centre-back sidelined for long periods, creating external doubts about his durability at the highest level, especially for clubs competing in multiple competitions simultaneously. The most recent episode occurred in November, when Botman suffered a thigh injury during a match against Manchester City. The issue ruled him out once again, reinforcing the caution of interested clubs. Even so, Newcastle maintained their confidence in the player, betting not only on his recovery, but also on his long-term potential within the club's sporting project. With this shift, the chances of a future move for Sven Botman diminished dramatically. The renewal confirmed by Newcastle practically closes off any possibility of negotiations in the short and medium term, making it clear that the club from the northeast of England not only believes in the player, but sees him as an essential part of its planning through to the end of the decade. In the official announcement, Botman made a point of expressing his feelings towards the club. He said he was very happy to sign the new contract, highlighting everything Newcastle has represented in his life over the past 3.5 years. According to the defender, his time at St. James' Park has been fundamental to his growth, both as an athlete and as a person. The Dutchman also stressed that he feels he still has much more to offer the club in the long term. This statement reinforces the idea that the renewal was not merely an administrative decision, but an agreement aligned between player and board, both confident in what can be built together over the coming seasons, on and off the pitch. For Newcastle supporters, this kind of news brings stability and reassurance. In an increasingly volatile market, securing the stay of a defender with Premier League experience and an international profile is a clear sign of continuity. If you value in-depth analysis like this, subscribing to the channel is a simple way to support it, and make sure you do not miss any important updates about the club. Interestingly, this renewal also has an emotional impact beyond St. James' Park. One of the players who could feel frustrated by the definitive cooling of Botman's chances of moving to Liverpool is Alexander Isak. The Swedish striker and the Dutch defender formed a close relationship after arriving together at Newcastle during the same transfer window. In previous interviews, Isak even stated that Botman was his best friend in football. They shared the dressing room, conversations off the pitch, and a routine that strengthened their friendship over time. This human detail shows how transfer decisions go beyond the four lines of the pitch and affect relationships built throughout a career. This context makes the end of the speculation involving Botman and Liverpool even more symbolic. While Isaac recovers, the Dutch defender consolidates his future at Newcastle, following different paths but carrying a shared history that began in the northeast of England. For Newcastle United, Botman's renewal represents more than simply retaining a player. It sends a message to the market that the club is willing to protect its assets, trust its athletes, and plan with a long-term vision, even in the face of interest from traditional Premier League giants. This kind of stance strengthens the sporting project and helps build a solid identity, rather than yielding to external pressure. Newcastle have chosen stability and internal confidence, something that tends to reflect positively on collective performance over the coming seasons. It is worth noting that all of this information was reported by English media outlets and confirmed by Newcastle United themselves through their official channels, ensuring the accuracy of Sven Botman's contract renewal until 2030 and the end of the rumours involving Liverpool. If you want to continue following verified news, clearly explained behind-the-scenes insights and stories that truly matter to Newcastle supporters, make sure to subscribe to the channel. This strengthens the project and ensures you always receive complete, contextualized and up-to-date content.